Hello, my name is Madeline, and I'm going to be making a video on how I recycle leather coats, at least at this time, for this video. This one I already started taking apart. As you can see, I took off the sleeves and I used them for a different project, but this is what I have left over. And as you see, I already started taking apart some of it down here as well, and up here. This was like a little cinch that was sitting over here, and then I removed that. I'll probably use that for something in the project. A lot of times I try to reuse the zipper here, but this one is broken, so I won't be able, you can see up here, I won't be able to use that. But if you have a coat that you get, I got this from the thrift store, if you have a coat that you get and the zipper is not broken, that is something that you can use as well. And this is what the cinch looked like before I removed it from the other side. So I'm going to continue to take apart this coat, and then I will be back and we'll see what I'm going to figure out what to do with it, okay? This is what it looks like now after I have taken it apart. I cut out the zipper in the front and I left the pockets. They are actually still usable. So if you look on the inside, the pocket is still good. So I'm going to try to maintain the use of the pocket as well as that one. And there's a pocket up here at the top. I don't know if I'm going to be able to maintain that, but at least we already will have pockets built in to the purse just because of the pockets that were already in the jacket. So, and this is what it looks like on the back side. I didn't take off the little cinch on the side here yet, but I will remove that because I already removed it on this side, so I have to be consistent. I'll be back. I'm going to make some adjustments and I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what I have so far. What I did was I put the two front pieces of the jacket together, a seam like that. First I put them together this way, and then I opened it up and then I sewed it down on either side. I do have an industrial sewing machine that is made specifically to sew leather, so that does make this a little bit easier for me. But there are some spots on here where you will see, like up here, where it is still a little difficult because you're going over some pretty thick seams there. But I actually, you can see there, I like to have these seams in here because to me that gives it a little bit more distinction. It kind of gives it a little more interest instead of just having plain seams, straight seams. It gives it something that just provides a little bit extra compared to a regular normal bag. So I put those two together, and then the spots where there were these buckles, they were down here in the bottom corner. I used those as like a little cutout because I want to give some depth to the bag and give some depth to the bag. This side too. So what I will use this for now, this front piece, is as a pattern to measure out the back sections as well as the lining of this bag. Okay, so I will put a lining in it because to me it just makes it better, and I can use any extra, like the top portion here, maybe throw some pockets in on the inside. When I make something like this, it's basically, I look at it, see where the pockets lie, see how the seams are, and try to figure out what best can come from this. Okay? All right. I'm going to cut out the back section, and then I will show you how it looks. All right. you see, this is how it looks now. I used the high-tech cans to use as weights to hold my first piece of leather down in place, and then with this I was just able to trace or cut around this area. So we have the back side. Just make sure if you're going to do this that you have wrong sides facing each other, so that you end up with the front and the back and not two front pieces. This way I know when I sew these two together, this side will exactly match because I matched it up perfectly. Don't do it this way. Where you have one wrong side up, or both wrong sides are up. Don't do it that way, because just in case one side is just a little bit off than the other side, it might not match up evenly when you sew it. So either have wrong sides together or right sides together when you're cutting it out, so that they will both match up the way they're supposed to when you're trying to sew them together. And flip the whole thing over, and there it is. That's the back side. It looks like really nothing. Actually, it's quite plain. It almost makes me want to throw something on here, like a pocket. I don't know. Sometimes if I have enough of the material of what I'm using left over, I will use some of it to be a pocket on the outside. Just messing around right now. Placing things, seeing how it might lie. I don't know. I might make a pocket on the outside back here, like just a regular slip pocket. Maybe something like that. Alright. Next I'm going to get some fabric and cut out a lining using this as the pattern. And then I will do that and come back. So this is the front piece that I first made, and I am now using this as a pattern to make my lining. You can see the fabric I picked out there. It is currently folded in half. Let's see. Yeah. So I folded it in double. There we go. So that will get the front and the back lining piece. And I'm just going to use these cans here as weights. To hold my pattern in place. And then I'll just cut it out, okay? And I've decided to use this shoulder, and I cut it out in that shape like that. And we're gonna put that on better than that, nice and straight. And I also, the last little shoulder piece that I had, looks like this. And that's going to go on the lining on the inside. I'm probably going to sew down this seam right here and cut it into two different pieces. And then you'll be able to put in like your cell phone or any other thing like that. And then the rest of the bag I'm just going to keep open. You can throw a bunch of stuff in. It's big enough to carry all kinds of good stuff. So I'm going to go and do some more sewing, and I'll come back and show you where I've gotten. All right, here is what the lining pieces look like now that I am finished sewing. What I did was I serged the edges because this fabric is pretty ravelly, and it would come and it would start to fray if I left it undone. So after the edges are serged, then I pinched in the sides and I serged those together. This one was done. This one is not done yet, but I will do that. Just fold it over and sew it together like that. And then I will put these two together. All right, I'm going to continue sewing, and then I will come back and show you. Okay, this is where we stand now. I did make a small adjustment to the shape of the bag, because when I put it together, after putting in my pleats here at the bottom, the drop from here to here was actually over here. I took the wedge away. There we go. There. So it was like from here to here, and that really, at distance, wasn't all that great, and it didn't give a lot of volume or depth to the bag. So I ended up removing this little section triangle here from both sides, and as well as removing it from the lining, and then I just reserged that. So when you make a bag like this and you don't really have a pattern, you're just kind of working with the shape of whatever item you're recycling. Sometimes you do have to make adjustments in the process of making it. So right now I have this bottom one done right here, and I decided to put attach the lining already here, and so I attached it to the side and the top, and then I will have to still put this part together there, front and back sections, and then it will be one whole bag. Once that is done, then I think I'm going to use these guys here in the corners maybe somehow, and possibly that belt. I like to use leather belts as straps for bags, and this one is pretty wide, probably like a 2-incher, and I should be able to cut it in half and use it as a strap for the bag. Right now this one is done already, and this one I just have clips in place. When you're working with leather, you try not to use any pins because you will end up leaving holes. So I use either these clips, as you see there's different kinds here, and there's a little, like there's one there, and then we got this one here, which is different from, I use anything just to hold it together. And I also, when I put this, I used like it's a seam tape. So I taped it down first, and then I sewed it along the edge. I also, when I put the bag here, I used seam tape as well. It was a 1/4 inch in size. It is sticky on both sides, and has paper on one side. So it comes on a roll, and you stick it to the edge all the way around. And then once you figure out where the positioning is, you take the paper off, and then you apply it, and then you can easily sew it in place without it shifting on you. And leather does shift and stretch and stuff, so you really should use something like this. Tape works well. It's not a permanent hold, it's just a temporary hold, but it holds it enough for me to be able to sew it in place. So I'm gonna go upstairs and sew this together, and then I'll probably try to cut the belt and see if it'll work for the project. Okay, so this is where we stand so far. The strap are made from the belt. I cut it down the center, and then I did sew along the edges just really to give it a good finished look. It wasn't necessary because it is one piece of leather. And I was thinking about making the strap kind of sort of like that, but that would make this bag like a monster bag. Really, really big. So I have decided to change it and put the straps on either side like that and that, and then have this other strap cut in half. I'll cut it, and then I can't do it with one hand, but kind of have it attached to the top, so it will be a handhold there, and it will then be a slouchy bag. Right now it is still in 2 separate pieces, the front and back. I just clipped it together with the clips just to see where I stand, to see if it's going together the way I want it to. See on the inside, not done. but it's going to go together perfectly. And so I'm going to go and put it together. I have flipped the bag to show you how I need to still sew, and the clips were just holding it while I was making my adjustments, making sure things were going to go together the way I wanted. Over here on the edge, you line up these two pieces, try to match it up so that it will go together nicely, and then sew all the way around. And you can see over here I actually don't have clips because that is where I'm going to use to turn it the right side up. I will actually sew there, probably up to there, and then leave about that much here unsewn so I can turn it right side up. I like to do it on the side instead of the bottom, because when you look inside you won't be seeing the seam. I don't usually hand sew it. I use my machine. So you won't see the seam so easily, so readily, if you use the side to turn the bag right side out. All right, I'm gonna go sew it now. All right, now it is officially sewn. I did the lining right here and ironed open the seams, and I left this opening here for turning the bag right side out. That's the bottom of the bag, and I decided to sew the seams down. It also gives it some nice detail like I did with the edges on the inside, and we're going to turn it right side out and then attach the straps. And I'm going to reuse the cinches that I had from before. And I'm going to use some grommets, I think, just maybe even use some of these holes or not. I'll figure it out as I go, and that's the way I always do. And then attach that one, and then it's done. That's it. Then it'll be done. So I'm going to turn it right side out now. All right, I turned it right side out. Actually, this is the inside. This is the lining of it. Just wanted to let you see what it looks like. Not bad at all. That came together pretty darn good. Yeah, that's where I turned it. And this is, let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm gonna have to find a way to mount my camera a little bit better than this. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. And that's the way it looks when it's turned out. All right. I love this detail here with the sewing and the white thread. I think it gives it good detail. Kind of reminds me of a Coach bag a little bit. And at the bottom. And I made sure that I pick the best leather I possibly can when I choose a coat that needs to be upcycled. Because there are some coats out there that are not made with the best quality of leather. So this one is actually very soft and very supple and has still good life in it. I've touched some that are pretty firm and hard, and they're kind of crinkly and stiff, and this is not that way at all. If you're going to be putting work into it, try to use the best pieces that you can. I mean, you're taking the time to make something. You might as well use something that's of high quality as much as possible. All right, so I can fold this over this way, or maybe this way. They both look good. And then I will attach this with grommets, or maybe sew it on. I haven't figured out which yet. And let me do that, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, here it is, completed. think it came out pretty nice. And as a fold over bag, it works out pretty good. I'll move it over here. There you go. It is very, very large. You can hold it this way, or as the folder with the strap. The base I left soft. I didn't want to add any like structure, because if you really wanted to, you can just fold it up like that and store it pretty easily. And it is a monster inside. Look at that. There's so much space. I actually put a small area rug in that I had rolled up, and I stuck it in there. I'm going to put some stuff in it and come back. There we go. I have a pillow, just a little small pillow, a water bottle, a school book, and a laptop in there. All that fit no problem, and I didn't even use any of the outside pockets. Of course, it was very heavy with all that stuff in there, but it did fit just fine. Alright, this is what I made. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration / tutorial on how to recycle any kind of item into a bag, and maybe you will find some of this useful for any of your future projects. Alright, bye!